For more than 2,000 years, one name has echoed through the pages of history. A king, a conqueror, a legend. His name was Alexander the Great. By the age of just 32, Alexander had built one of the largest empires the ancient world had ever seen. His armies marched from Greece through Egypt, across the mighty Persian Empire, and all the way to the borders of India. But behind the glory and victories were strange stories, mysterious decisions, and dark secrets that shaped his legend. Here are some of the most fascinating moments from the life of Alexander the Great. Alexander was not an ordinary prince. From a very young age, he showed incredible courage and intelligence. One famous story tells of a wild horse that no one in the kingdom could control. The horse was powerful, aggressive, and had thrown every rider who tried to mount it. Even experienced soldiers failed. But the young Alexander noticed something others did not. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. So Alexander turned the horse toward the sun, removing the shadow that frightened it. Then he slowly climbed onto its back. The horse that no one could ride suddenly became calm. That horse would later become famous as Bucephalus, Alexander's loyal companion in many battles. As Alexander grew older, he proved his abilities on the battlefield. One of his most shocking victories came against the powerful Persian Empire, ruled by Darius III. Despite facing a much larger army, Alexander used clever tactics and fearless attacks to defeat the Persian forces. Battle after battle, victory followed him. Soon, Alexander became the ruler of an empire stretching across thousands of miles. But Alexander was not just a conqueror. He was also deeply fascinated by mystery and destiny. After conquering Egypt, he made a dangerous journey across the desert to reach a hidden temple in Siwa Oasis. There, priests claimed to speak for the god Amen. Inside the temple, Alexander spoke privately with the oracle. No one knows exactly what was said, but according to ancient accounts, the priests greeted Alexander as the son of a god. After that moment, Alexander seemed even more convinced that his destiny was to rule the world. Years of constant war eventually exhausted his army. Alexander's soldiers had marched thousands of kilometers and fought countless battles. When they finally reached India, many soldiers refused to go further. They had fought for years and simply wanted to return home. Even the greatest leader must sometimes listen to his army. For the first time in his career, Alexander agreed to turn back. But one of the greatest mysteries in history came shortly after. In 323 BC, Alexander returned to the ancient city of Babylon. After attending a royal banquet, the powerful conqueror suddenly became ill. Over several days, his fever grew worse. The man who had survived countless battles slowly became too weak to even stand. At just 32 years old, Alexander the Great died. But the cause of his death remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Some historians believe he died from diseases like malaria or typhoid. Others believe something darker happened. Some think the world's greatest conqueror may have been poisoned. Even after more than 2,000 years, the truth is still unknown. Another powerful legend is connected to Alexander's final wish. It is said that before his death, Alexander asked for something very unusual. He requested that when his coffin was carried during the funeral, his hands should be left outside the coffin. When people asked why, Alexander explained his reason. He wanted the world to see that the man who conquered so much land was leaving the world exactly the same way he came into it, with empty hands. Alexander the Great ruled for only a short time, but in that short time, he changed the course of history forever. His empire reshaped cultures, connected civilizations, and created stories that are still told thousands of years later. From the horse no one could ride, to the mysterious oracle in the desert, to the unsolved mystery of his death, Alexander's legend continues to fascinate the world. And perhaps that is why history still remembers him as one of the greatest conquerors who ever lived.